to my channel. My name is Natalie Byrne and I have no motivation today at all. I got asked a while ago what to do and how to find motivation after university. I'm going to do this video and hopefully I'm going to feel a bit more motivated, and so are you. So let's look at the definition of motivation. I wrote it down here. I have some notes. So motivation is a reason or reasons for acting or behaving in a particular way. And while I kind of go into this topic, I'm going to be doing something that I have been putting off. So the idea is I've primed like some bottles that we're going to be throwing away, and I want to turn them into some cool art pieces. I make all my work digitally, so doing anything off the computer gives me a lot of anxiety. Instead of just like using pen and paper, I just decided to try and tackle this insecurity of mine and go in the deep end. So this is why we're putting off this project for so long, because I feel very fearful that I've made mistakes, because I've done projects like this. I've tried to get going on this, and when I make mistakes I get really discouraged. It is out of my comfort zone. It's kind of hard to see things not come out the way that I want them to. So I'm going to just do it on camera, because why not? Because that is pushing me out my comfort zone even more. I feel very uncomfortable. Anyway, motivation. So I feel like the first step in feeling motivated is doing some sort of personality test. So I'm an INTJ. I'm also a rebel from Gretchen Rubin's books, and I'm also an Aries. We're going in. It's happening. We're doing it. This is awful. I've got such a horrible pit in my stomach. Oh my god, I should have done it more out. Okay, this is fine. It's fine, we're doing it. Good. Oh my god. I'm actually shaking. I'm so nervous. Okay, so personality test. I'm going to link some below that I've done that I think are really helpful. And I think this way you can really start to get to know who you are, get to know like what those patterns are in your behaviour and why you struggle, because I think all things that motivate us all are really different. The things that kind of make us excited are really different. The reasons why we do things are all really different. So for me, every personality test I've done has been, oh, it's really hard to get you to do anything, and if you tell me to do something, I don't want to do it. And if you tell me not to do something, I want to do it even more. That's very traditional of Aries. That's a classic Aries. I'm a rebel through and through, and I've always found it very, very hard to stick to my own goals. Okay, we're doing okay. Got the G. The only way to get me to do anything is I have to reconnect with why I'm doing it. So if I want to do something that I don't want to do, like tidy my room, like doing this, I really have to connect with why and have that carry me through. So like why I'm doing this project is, it's uncomfortable, but I really want to challenge myself. I really want to push myself up. Then you want to brainstorm your goals and make sure you set achievable goals. So my friend Kenny said SMART goals are really important. S stands for specific. I actually am blanking on all the other things. M is measurable, A is achievable, R is realistic, and T is be really specific. You know, don't say, oh, I want to go for a run. set, like, I want to become a runner, like, write down how often you're going to do it, what your plan is. Like, these are all really important ways to keep you motivated, because if we have a goal that's like, I want to go to the gym more, like, we need to be really specific, we need to be realistic and also achievable. So can you run a 10k tomorrow if you've never run before? Probably not. And you know, we have to break these things down so that we don't feel overwhelmed, so that we are motivated and feel like we can do it. So just brainstorm it out. Whenever I feel like unmotivated, I just head to my journal and ask, why do I want to do this? How am I going to do it? What are the challenges that are going to be in my way? So making sure my environment is set up to doing this. So like with my morning pages, every time I go to bed, I set up my journal ready for the morning. I'll also set up my gym clothes. So these things just become easier. So I'm setting myself up for success. Okay, what else do I put here? Visualization. This might seem really, really woo-woo and like a really big waste of time, but this is actually been so beneficial for me. Like I said, it's really, really hard to get me to do anything, and the way that I've really found that I am excited to do things is whenever I'm in the shower. You don't have to be in the shower, you can be anywhere, but I think how I'm going to feel once I've achieved my to-do list, once I've achieved my goals, once I'm at the place that I'm aiming for, whether that's when I was unemployed and looking for jobs, how was I going to feel once I got a job? You know, once I saved a specific amount of money, what was that feeling going to be like? Because for me, like I said, like, it's really hard to get me to do anything, and what I find rewarding is, because I'm such a rebel, I don't really care about what other people think of me and all these other ways that I see my friends being motivated by. I don't feel motivated by that, but what I feel motivated is I really, really want to go to bed at the end of the night feeling productive. So I kind of like remember the last time I felt like that, and I think about that in the shower and I'm like, yeah. And I really visualize like what I want, where I want to be, what's it going to look like, what's it going to feel like, and try and like remember that and just visualize that in my mind. And this isn't like, it isn't like crazy stuff. Like, this is stuff people who like are in sports, is that the word? People who play sports, this is a thing that I read recently that they do as well. They imagine themselves winning. And so yeah, I think that's something that has really helped me. Should I be doing it this way? Oh, I don't like it. I don't know how people draw with pens, honestly. So another thing is that motivation is bullshit. Don't wait for motivation to come. I think motivation is like the muse. Like we as artists, we want like the perfect day, the perfect weather, the perfect feeling, the perfect amount of sleep the night before, this like perfectness to be able to make the best work possible. And the reality is that successful people in this world don't sit around and wait for motivation to happen, to arrive. It's not like a fairy, like we can't just sit around and wait for this like magic to come to us. And the more that you look into motivation and start to understand it and start to look at successful people and what they do, you will become very aware, and I've become very aware, that motivation is bullshit. Really what we want and what we should be striving for as people that want to do things and be successful is, it's all about discipline, focus, habits and behaviour change, and all of those things you are in complete control of doing. And I think the less we can let go of this word of motivation, which will come and go, and the more we start to think about our own habits and our own discipline and behaviour change and focus, I think we can start to, as creatives, look at how we make work more with an entrepreneurial energy rather than this kind of like, I have to wait for the muse to arrive, you know. The reality is that, you know, you can't just sit around waiting for everything to be perfect to be making your best work. You have to find a way to push through those days you really don't feel like doing. Because look, sometimes I get a client, like when I had my breakup and I had deadlines and then someone from school passed away, like that was, I'm so grateful for myself for pushing through for the few years before that when I felt so unmotivated, because when shit really hit the fan and when I was really going through some really personal stuff, I had to get up and get on with it. Especially if you're early on in your career and you're, you know, the question I've got a lot is about like motivation after uni. This is the time now when you're not being spoon-fed deadlines, you're not being kind of like held accountable by tutors or classmates. This is the time where you really need to get up and start becoming your own, be accountable to yourself and take responsibility and discipline yourself and focus and find that energy somehow. And like, I know that it feels like a lot of the challenges that I felt like were going to really hold me back, like coming from a really working class background, as a really working class background, and not coming from wealth, I thought those were all things that were going to hold me back. And I now meet so many amazing artists who went through the same like struggles as me, and like there's really no, like there are systems in place to hold people back for sure, but I think in terms of how I've managed to push through down days and feeling like the world was against me was just by making work, and making work when no one was asking me to, and also making work that I knew had to exist out in the world. So the best thing, I think, if you can figure out how to stay motivated and keep creating amazing work when no one is around asking you to, that I think is been huge in how I've made a name for myself. All the projects that got me mainstream press were things I did off my own back. No one commissioned me to make my book. I asked myself. And so, you know, I think if you can start to really tackle how to be responsible yourself and to keep staying productive even if you haven't got clients or anyone or tutors knocking on your door, I think it's a really, really good essential skill in making work. Okay, so now we are on the U. We're doing okay. I'm going very slowly because I'm so scared. Okay, this is not going very well. This is going fine. I feel so unconfident. Okay, U. How do people do this? This just takes practice, Natalie. Very hard to... I ruined it. Guys, I've ruined it. For fuck's sake. I've ruined it. If I can have a white pen, I think I managed to save it. Okay. The time when I felt the most lowest and the most unmotivated was after uni. And I've talked about it before on my Instagram, that I did CBT after uni because I just got in a bad place. And so if you are really feeling unmotivated and you're really feeling like it's overtaking your life, that isn't something to just brush under the carpet. Like, go get help. Definitely speak to your doctor and speak to your friends, because a big symptom of depression is really no lack of motivation and also no enjoyment in things that you enjoy, like previously enjoyed. So for me during that time, I had no excitement in making stuff at all. And a big part of that was because after uni, I felt like there was this like someone with a gun to my head that like every time I sat down to make work, I felt like it had to be amazing because I had a degree in it. And I also graduated like with some amazing, like everyone on my course was just so talented and so amazing, and I just fell into this trap of comparing myself all the time. And just my confidence was in my creativity was in my lowest point it's ever been. My whole life was after uni. And actually in that frustration, I was really bad at drawing, but I started to draw how I felt and put it on Instagram, just as a hobby and just for fun. And I actually made this piece. I knew the only way to get through it was by pushing through and just making stuff. And it was kind of like a muscle. Like being creative is like a muscle that when you stop doing it, well, for me at least, I became more anxious the less I did it. So I really made that as a reminder to myself to just keep making work all the time, even though at the time that was the hardest thing to do, was put myself out there like that. But I did it. And so yeah, it's a little bit messy, but I think I can neaten it up with a white pen. But I'm actually not too unhappy. I mean, this is like where my digitalness was like, funny, I can neaten it up. But it's for the mistakes. It's not perfect, but neither am I. I'm probably going to keep drawing these bottles. If you want to see them, they'll be up on my Instagram. I'll put all the links down below. This is going to be a start of this ongoing project. I really want to keep pushing myself out of my comfort zone and really kind of feel like I can do this. This is just starting. I don't think this one's done yet. I like it though. Anyway, concentrate. Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to see more from me, please subscribe. I'm really enjoying just having fun here on YouTube and just being a bit talking about these kinds of things. If you have any video suggestions, please leave them in the comments below or DM me. I'm always trying to think about the things that were really challenging for me at the beginning. So yeah, I think that's going to be the end of this video. And subscribe if you want to see more from me. I'll put all the links to all my socials. I have a mailing list and a